It may be a gloomy day, but that's not going to stop us. Today we're in Bridgewater, riders taking out this Harley Davidson Street Glide 117. Now I have done the Road Glide 117. Look in the top right corner, you see the card there if you want to watch that. I really enjoyed that bike, so I've got good hopes for this machine. Well, let's get on with it.
We'll just get on it and drift away over the
Let's turn off the radio.
The person who gets caught with this, and I know it's
Get back to used to riding a Harley. Also sat in traffic. Let's talk about this bike a little. This is Harley Davidson's Milwaukee 8 117 engine. This has got a ridiculous 1923cc. That's right, bigger than most minis out there. Producing a whopping 168 newton meters of torque with 103 brake horsepower. So yeah, brake horsepower isn't the biggest, but the torque 168 is ridiculous, which means this bike in pretty much every gear from every point in the rev range is going to pull. Don't know if you can see, I mean that GoPro is shaking. Hopefully the camera isn't steady enough. This has got that typical Harley feel. When you're stationary, you get that little rumble, you get the little shake, the handlebars shake. But what you tend to find is as soon as you start actually riding, that vibrations, or those vibrations, settle down. So you get a nice feeling like you're on a Harley when you're stationary, and then when you're riding, you're not riddled with vibrations. Looking at the ergonomics of this bike, it's like a bucket seat. You are sat really nice and low into the bike. I'm 6'1", 115 kilos, and the handlebars are at a nice kind of reach from my torso. What I found with the Road Glide is the handlebars were just a little bit too low for me. Those were kind of elbow level. If you were to sit on a chair, put your arms down, that's where the handlebars were. And that was, to me, probably one of the biggest downfalls of that bike. I like something like this where my arms are kind of outwards in front of me rather than kind of sat down here. Hopefully that makes sense. Both feet flat on the floor, strong bend in the knees, so I can actually handle this machine while stationary. We do have footboards, which I really like compared to just your normal pegs on these bikes, because on the cruisers, when you start going around the corners, I find that I catch my feet a lot, especially on roundabouts. So footboards will stop that. We've got a nice crash bar at the front just to protect the footboards if and when we do drop it. But the footboards do bend in slightly, so if you do drop it, they'll just kind of come up. You may scratch them, but hopefully you won't break them. Looking at some of the technology then, because we're still sat here in traffic. We've got LEDs all round as expected. Coming back from that, we have got this large, it's like 6.5 inch TFT, and as you can tell, it does have full map navigation, which is really nice to see. And then above that, we've got our old school original dials. You may notice left and right, this does have Harley's Boombox GTS, I think it's called, where it's got the speaker system, so it's got the radio, in this little cubby hole. You've got a USB, you can charge your phone, but also that USB can then be used to connect to the speakers, so if you want to put in like a little old school MP3 player or something. Also you can connect your phone, so you can play your music from your phone via the bike. Found it last time, when you're kind of low speeds, city speeds, it's fine, you can hear it really nicely and it is loud, but then obviously as soon as you kind of get 60 and above, the wind noise kind of naturally takes over. Looking at the buttons then on the handlebar, top left hand side there's a little cycle menu, and you can see cycles there through your fuel range, your trip A, your trip B, but also this bike does have tyre pressure monitoring system, and that's where you'll see it, front 32, rear 37. And then left and right you got these little kind of thumb jog dials there to navigate through the TFT screen and adjust the volume, etc. The way the seat is sculpted, we'll have a look when we pull over, my knees are kind of in line, maybe even above my hips when they're placed towards the kind of rear of the footboards. You can feel that torque wanting to be unleashed. It's very comfortable. That's what I mean with this kind of seating position where the arms are just relaxed in front of you. I like it. You can feel that power, you can feel the torque. So there is a bit of wind buffeting, kind of eyebrow level and above. And with this fixed screen, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. It's easy to ride. For a bike of its size and weight, it flicks very nicely. Nice to see on a bike that is clearly designed for a bit of touring. This does have cruise control as well. Because the mirrors are right on the edge of the front fairing, I can just about see kind of my elbows. Like I can't really see any of my arm. So we've got a really good view behind you. It's definitely a gripe for some of the other bikes. All I can see is my arms. Clutch ball is quite heavy. It's got a big old clutch lever, and the force is considerable to pull it. It's not a light clutch pull, that's for sure. The reason you feel so low down in this seat is because it does have a really low seat height of only 710 mil, which is extremely low. No one's going to have a problem with the seat height of this. The only issue smaller riders might find is the weight. So stationary, you got 369 kilos, which is a lot of weight to move around. Like I said, when you're going along, it flicks really nicely and you wouldn't notice 370 kilos sat in between your legs. When you're stationary and you're trying to push it around, say the car park or the garage, that is when you really feel the weight of this bike. The Street Glide is going to come in two different colours. You're going to have this, the vivid black, which in my opinion looks the best with its bronze accents, or sand pearl, and they're both going to set you back £28,895. It's not a cheap bike, not a cheap bike at all. But let's face it, if you're looking at this bike and you're buying this bike, you're investing into the Harley way. Yes, there are cheaper Harleys out there under the 20 grand mark, and those might be your kind of entry level, dipping your toe into the realms of having a Harley. Me, I had a Fat Bob, loved it. If I was to get another Harley, and I was going to definitely keep it for a long term, something like this would suit me down to a T. Strong, powerful, it's got my screen, it's got the bags, it's easy to ride, it's comfortable. This would definitely probably come home with me first. I'm gonna go find us some twisties and we'll catch back up then. RIP old 360. Just died on this corner. So they have resurfaced this road, so I need to take a little bit easy, but this is the twisty section I like to come down. So I'm finding the brakes on this are pretty good. Rear is nice and sharp, but at slow speed I can just use the front brake and one finger as well. It's kind of soft but strong, which it's nice. It's easy to use. I'm not grabbing the brakes, I'm not jerking forward. Suspension, I am finding a little bit stiff. I'm getting a few jolts through the old back. Get this tuned and I'm sure the suspension would be alright for myself. These easy sweeping roads, this bike absolutely laps it up. If you ride this bike smoothly, it will perform. Look at this. Oh yes. And then you got that torque and the power to punch out the corners. Honestly, it's like this bike was just made for these type of corners. Oh, it's gentle sweeping. Oi, 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 caramba. For most of the braking, I am just using one finger on the front, nice and gentle, get my braking done before the corner, and then just letting it glide round. Let's find somewhere to pull over, have a little walk around. Here we are then looking at the Street Glide. I think with the bat wing at the front and the bags at the rear, I think this could be the best Harley that I've tested so far. Just saying. We've got pretty decent sized panniers that come stock. Literally just flick that up and then there you go. Enough space for a couple of days worth of travel, that's for sure. And then to lock it up, as simple as that. This is what I mean by that bat wing. Massive LED light at the front, air box, or air filter should I say, sticking out the left hand side, and the vivid black with these bronze accents, the wheels, 117, the Harley Davidson down there, but then the rest of it just blacked out. I think looks awesome. Keyless entry, so you just flick the switch, let it do its thing, then to start it up, push and hold. It does sound quite muted for what a Harley can sound like, but you stick a set of pipes on this and it will absolutely open it up. And then lastly, we do have the twin exhaust outlets. I think it just finishes off that look really, really nice. That's enough waffling off the bike. Time to get back on and enjoy those open roads. Okay, then we are back on. I'd just like to correct, earlier I said the price was $28,895. My bad, it's even more, $29,895, so just shy of £30,000. Like I said, not a cheap puppy. As you can see now, I do have the navigation working. I think the final thing I need to cover off and say is that this has got a 22 litre fuel tank, and you can tell it's a big boy between your legs, so this is going to get you some serious mileage, and that's exactly what you want on this kind of street touring orientated cruiser. So what is my overall thoughts on this bike? Like I said, I took out the Road Glide, I love that, but I just wasn't 100% sold with the riding position. It was just the kind of, the arms were a bit too low for me, and as I expected, this for me is the kind of the perfect Harley setup. It's big and comfortable, the handlebars are at a nice position, nice distance from me. I've got my technology, I've got my sat nav, but I've also got my bags behind me. Just all of it together as a package works really, really well. Yes, it's heavy, but as soon as you start moving, you can't feel it. There must be some cowboy convention going on because they're everywhere. Little strange cookies they are. I don't know why they're pirates. For me, if I was going to get this bike, I'll get the suspension sorted out and then definitely get some new pipes on this just to really open her up. So yeah, if you can't tell, I've thoroughly enjoyed my ride today, so thank you very much. Riders of Bridgewater, go and check them out, they got plenty of demos. I'm gonna head on back, enjoy this sun whilst it's up. If you guys found this video helpful or you just enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up. More importantly, subscribe to the channel, helps us out over here massively. There's nothing else to say, but until the next one, ride safe.